Thank you for joining us. My name is Tom Belinsky with Satellite Electronics. We're a national firm that helps customers with their RVs. We love RVing. We do RVing every year. We do about 22,000 miles a year. I'm here to help you with the product called the Winegard Carryout. Common problems with the Winegard Carryout and how to help you with those, setting them up so you get the signal every time. So this is the Winegard Carryout. You currently have one of these. Very popular from Winegard. The great thing about this product is you can place it anywhere on your coach, or you can set it outside your coach, away from your coach. You can go great distances with this product and get a great signal for your satellite. This current unit model is actually set up for DirecTV. It is set up for DirecTV when it comes out of the box. You can set it up with Dish Network or Bell Express View. This unit here, because it's DirecTV, will not do HD, but it will do standard definition, which covers most people's needs. Nice features about the Winegard Carryout is you don't have to worry about placing it in any single direction. You can have it any direction to sit it on a level surface. Several things you need for a Winegard is one, you need a power source to run the Winegard itself. It comes with an Apple supply of cable for running the unit to find the satellite signal. It's got a 12-volt receptacle on one end and a connection that plugs into the base of the unit. Another thing you need is your coax connection that hooks up to your satellite receiver. Now these two connections go to one of my boxes inside of my RV, which is a DVR. Inside my coach I actually run two DVRs. You can do all kinds of things with the satellite if you know what you're doing. Being in the industry for over 15 years, just give us a call or send us an email and we'll be able to help you out. Now with these two connections, they go into my receiver. Now the thing you got to remember with the unit, which common happens in most RV questions, is that you don't have power to your antenna. Without power, the unit cannot find the satellite signal. Now, we're not talking about the power that runs the motors inside. We're talking about the power that runs the actual LNB, the low noise blocker. That's a unit inside the dome, it sits inside your dish, that receives the signal so it sends it to your box so it can be decoded. So what we have here is a little thing called the satellite. It's a developing product we made because we find that most consumers don't know one way or another they have power. Unless you taste the wire, you got a voltmeter, you won't know. So what this little device is, it's an inline connector that has a little LED on it that tells me I have power. Now with this little device here, I can put it on in my wire, and if my light lights up, which it does, I have power. So I check both my wires, I have power. Now this goes to my DVR as I said earlier, and so it doesn't matter which wire goes to the base of my unit. Now there is a main connection and a secondary connection on my Winegard Carryout. Newer models of the Winegard have both connections on this side of the plug-in for the power. Again, they're both marked main and secondary. If you only have one receiver, a single wire receiver, you want to make sure you plug that main wire, coax if you only have one wire, plug it into the main connection on the antenna. But I have two connections, so I'm hooking them both up. So it doesn't matter which ones I hook up. I hook them both up, screw them down. Now if you notice, I have little pigtails on my antenna. The antenna pigtails I love because one, it makes it easier for me to find a connection and hook them up. Also keeps the wear and tear from my antenna. So I hook this up here, I get both of them hooked up. Now once I have this done, I have to have a clear shot of the southern skies. I'm in Seattle, Washington, so it's southeast. You got to remember the satellite signals are on the equator south of Texas. So think about the United States, and you're going to find that if I'm in Seattle, Washington, and Texas is basically southeast. If I was over in Maine or Vermont or New York, it's going to be southwest. Those are key things you got to remember. Kind of easy things to associate with. Where's Texas? Everybody knows where Texas is. It's a big state. So once I have these connections hooked up here, and I got a clear shot of the southern skies. In this case, we're actually going to need the canopy of a tree. So that's the things you got to look at. You got to have a clear shot of the sky. If you don't, find a clear shot of the sky. In this case, we don't. I already have one hooked up to the RV in mine. It's sitting on my roof. Another nice advantage of the Carryout, I can place it anywhere and I can get a signal. Okay, if I am in some trees, I can move the unit out from underneath the tree and get a shot of the sky. Okay. So the thing also remember is that the higher you are in the United States, let's say we are in Seattle, Washington, we're pretty high up in the country, the lower the signal is in the horizon. The lower we go in the United States, the higher the signal is in the horizon. So in Texas, it's very high. In Washington, it's very low. Vermont, Maine, very low, 34-degree angle. So those are things you got to remember when you're trying to find an open sky. If the tree's here and the signal's here and it hits the tree, you're not going to get it. Down in Texas, less trees in general, so we have more open sky because the signal's higher in the sky. So now we got that all figured out. These things hopefully will help you. We hook up the power cord to the unit. Now here we got our wire. It comes with a Winegard. It's got ample amount of supply. It's about 50 feet long. One end of it goes to the antenna, which goes in and plugs in. And you'll hear a click, click, okay? And the other end we run off to a receptacle, like a truck, RV, or anything that has 12 volts. Now if you don't have a 12 volt source, that's no problem. You can buy a product called a SunForce. The SunForce is an AC adapter one end with a step down power amplifier in it that turns it into a 12 volt receptacle. Hook it up to any kind of power on your RV, any kind of power to 110. Plug it in and it does the same thing. Now we run that off, we plug it into the 12 volt receptacle. As soon as you plug it in, the antenna becomes active. It'll basically initialize itself, go around, check all its motors, up, down, left, right, 360 degrees, and then it'll say, I'm in Seattle, Washington, and then point it to the service you currently have. Now, how does it know which service you have? Inside here is a small circuit board that has little switches, and called dip switches. There's 8 of them, and depending on the series of on and off will determine what kind of services you have. This, as I said before, was set up for DirecTV, but it does handle Dish Network and it does handle Bell Express View. Now, the Dish Network will work with this and it will do high definition. The disadvantages of that product is this. Dish Network requires multiple satellites to pick up most of its signals. In this case, it needs the 110, the 119, and the 129 for high definition. Because it requires all 3 satellites to get its services, it needs to move constantly. So the power wire has to stay plugged in. If you don't leave it plugged in, it will lock down on one satellite and won't move. Now that's not a problem. You can set your boxes up to make that work. The disadvantages of that, it's very difficult to take a Dish Network product and make it work with multiple boxes because each box can require multiple different satellite locations at a given time. For instance, if I was in my coach in the front and I had a box looking at satellite 119, and then my wife was in the bedroom looking at satellite 110, the box in the front being the primary will win. The one in the back will not work and we will come up with an error. The way around it is going with different products and make it easier for you to use your Dish Network services. With DirecTV, it does not do high definition, but it does do standard definition. It will lock down on the 101 satellite, the 110 or the 119, depending which service you have. In most cases, it's going to be on the 101 satellite. Because it locks on a 101 satellite, all standard definition, it gives you the ability to have all your boxes work at once. In this case, I have a DVR. I can put multiple DVRs on my unit and still have different programming for all the units. That is done by doing services like swim technology or what they call multi-switches. Another product that we will show you later on in our videos. Again, thank you very much. This should work automatically. Once it stops finding the satellite signal for DirecTV, I can disconnect my power cord, push in, push down on the button, pull out, wire's done, wind it up, put it away. Just as long as I don't move the dish in any direction, it will stay in that satellite and work fine for you. Thank you for joining us.